how does content marketing play that really important role in building trust and credibility with potential clients that might be looking for legal tech?
Content marketing is only one channel among many to build that trust, to bring in leads into your business. And it does create a huge sense of trust because you're bringing your authentic self, you're bringing your authentic business in the content that you're making. People can get a better sense of who you are most of the time with content marketing. You know, you see people on LinkedIn, you see this podcast. This is all content marketing, and inherently there is trust built because there are stories told. There are connections for people to make to understand things a little bit better than just throwing an ad out there. But that's not to say that, you know, print ads or online ads are any worse than content marketing. It's just you have to focus what makes sense for your business. You have to focus on a channel that's going to bring the highest returns for you.
It's all about finding out where your audience are and then showing up there. So there's no point, for instance, with me, with my business. I know that my clients aren't on Facebook, but they are on LinkedIn. So that's where I hang out most of the time. And that's what legal tech startups need to do as well. You know, find out where they are and then get in there and get the message spread.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You made a great point about showing up where your people are. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is figuring out where your people are. You know, like that's actually something that we help folks with, is doing tests to figure out where are you bringing in, you know, the most leads, because that's probably where your people are hanging out.
Everybody's obviously really interested about customer acquisition. It's what it's all about, and what make our businesses go around, you know, attracting the customers and retaining them too. So what about storytelling as chief of story? What's your take on this?
Let me ask you, when you think of storytelling, what comes to your mind?
I guess storytelling for me would be, just takes me back to being a child and being read a story and really getting immersed in the story.
And I think that's what a lot of people think about. You know, you hear storytelling and you think about kids, you think about, you know, kids' books and all that stuff, or reading. And it is that, but there's structure in books. You know, there's a story that people can follow. And that's really what I mean, or what we mean when we say storytelling, is having this structure that you can follow, because stories are inherently tap into who we are as humans. You know, before we had writing, before we had LinkedIn, before we had anything, people were telling stories to communicate where the best, you know, food was, where the danger was, how to just survive. You know, stories were survival. And so unfortunately, our brains don't just take in information like sentences. We have to be able to connect dots, you know, and to connect dots, we have to build a story.
So what does that mean then for legal tech startups? You know, creating that story, does that mean something as simple as, you know, the story of how the brand came to be, you know, the story behind the founders? What kind of thing?
I know that this is one of the things that so many founders, or really anybody trying to build a story, gets tripped up on. It's because, like you said, is it the story of the brand? Is it the story of the founders? Is it the story of how our product got started? All that stuff. People want to just solve their problem, right? And so the stories that we need to tell as founders, the story you need to tell is putting that person that you're trying to sell to at the center of the story. So no offense to any founders, but none of your ideal customers care about you. You know, they don't care about how your business started. They want to know, how does this thing that you're trying to sell them help them? Can your story quickly answer like what it does, how it helps them solve their problem, you know, help them reach their desired state, and how do they get it? You know, it really comes down to those simple things.